To be aware of a great need or a great event represents but the first threshold. To fulfill one's awareness, one must take action. Action is necessary here to bring to fruition one's awareness and to realize one's strength. There are people who are becoming aware of the great waves of change, but who are not taking action regarding them. As a result, they are losing their self-confidence and are not beginning their preparation. Depression, cynicism, ambivalence, these are all the result of not taking action around things that one recognizes to be important. The awareness was not fulfilled, and, as a result, it becomes dark. It becomes clouded, and the inspiration is lost. Action is necessary to fulfill what one is seeing and knowing. Action does not have to be immediate, however, for there should be a period of contemplation. There are, in fact, 3 stages in the process of seeing, knowing and acting. There is seeing a sign. Something stimulates you. You recognize something must be done. There is a time to contemplate, a time of knowing what this is, feeling the need to take it into your mind and your heart. Then there is a time of action. The action itself may have many stages. It may be a very long process, in fact, and that is true within the context of the great waves of change. Even a specific change that must be undertaken in one's life may have many steps involved. You may only know the first few, but it is necessary to move with knowledge. Only then will you know if what you're seeing is true. Only then will you know its great importance for your life. People want to have certainty before they act, but it is the action itself that creates the certainty. It is the courage to move and to change one's thinking and one's circumstances that creates the certainty. This is the confirmation. People want to have no doubts before they act. But it is the action itself, if it is true and appropriate, that relieves you from doubt at last. Knowledge is not in doubt, and if your connection to knowledge is strong enough, it will carry you beyond the initial resistance, fear, doubt and endless evaluation. For there comes a time to act, and this represents a threshold within itself. There are many people who have known things for a long time. They say to themselves, I know I must give this up, or I know I must change this, or I know I must do this. But they have not yet acted because knowledge within them is not strong enough yet to overcome their initial resistance. It is a fact in human nature that people adapt to their circumstances. Even if the circumstances are very compromised, even if the circumstances are very bad, people adapt. This adaptation represents both a strength and a weakness. The fact that humanity can adapt to changing circumstances has given it its great strength and dominance within the world. But the reality that people adapt to situations that are unhealthy for them or that are not in their best interests represents the frailty of human awareness and the degree to which people can compromise themselves to their great detriment. That is why there is an initial resistance. People have adapted to something, and change is upsetting. It is costly. It is risky. Unless the situation is utterly terrible, people adapt and build their lives around a set of circumstances. To change requires a great force from within them. This involves inconvenience. It involves self-doubt. It involves living with questions that one cannot fully answer. It involves taking action and giving up privileges or seeming benefits at the outset. For most people adapt to situations that are unhealthy for them because there are certain benefits. Obviously, one must give up those benefits to change those circumstances. Yet this is a small price to pay to relieve oneself of an unhealthy and unhappy situation. Therefore, there are 3 stages in knowing something: seeing, knowing and acting. The knowing aspect of this, the second part of this process, involves a deeper resonance and self-inquiry. One must ask, is this the truth? Must I take action regarding this? You can even take a position against what you're seeing to see what kind of response occurs within you. You may test it in this way. You may challenge it. But in the end, if it is true, you will see there is a great certainty that action must be taken regarding that which you see and know. Once this is recognized, the sooner you take action, the better. Only in rare circumstances does waiting offer any benefit at all. Most people are far overdue in taking action regarding things that they have seen and known. They are afraid to face the discomfort, afraid to face the self-doubt, and afraid to give up some small perceived benefit in order to change their attitude or behavior in a way that is utterly beneficial to them. Clearly, it is not intelligent to pay a great price for a small pleasure, to make a great sacrifice for a very small reward. Clearly, that is not intelligent. But that is what people do. They make a great sacrifice for a very small reward. They compromise their lives for very, very small seeming advantages. They pay a great price for a very small pleasure. It is the unwillingness to do this that represents a turning point in their lives. In the context of preparing for the great waves of change, the benefits that you will hold onto are so insignificant compared to the requirements placed upon you that to cling to these benefits represents a kind of self-betrayal. It is as if you have given over your life to some kind of dark force for some small pleasure or advantage. Here there is no escape from self-conflict. Here you cannot really relieve yourself of the problem, for once you have seen and known the truth, you cannot shake this off with all kinds of excuses and justifications. These three stages all represent conscious acts: seeing, knowing, taking action. Most people will not look, so they will not see. They will not look, they will not really consider what they are seeing, so they look and do not see. The second error is that people will not be with what they see. They will either dismiss it or give it some kind of simple explanation and file it away somewhere within themselves. They will not keep it in front of them, looking at it. It passes them by. They will not be with it and see what it arouses within themselves, to really examine it and examine their own response to it. The third stage is taking action, and here again, people do not act. They say, I must lose weight, or I must stop eating this food, or I must change my work, or I must fortify my home, or I must deal with my conflicts in this relationship, or I must tell this person the thing I must tell them. But they do not act, and so they are stuck. Trying to protect themselves or hold on to some advantage or pleasure, they now put themselves in jeopardy. They sacrifice their awareness, their sense of well-being and their sense of integrity. They are paying immense prices for some small, perceived pleasure or advantage. They are paying huge prices. This is not intelligent. Would you pay $10,000 for a piece of bread or a piece of candy, or a little thrill, or to avoid an inconvenience or a discomfort? To pay a large sum of money to do this would not be intelligent. You can see this. It is so clear. So one must be willing to look, to really look at something, to really look at the great waves of change, to read about them, to investigate them, to see what they are, to learn more about the great waves and how they are affecting people in the world today and their potential for altering the course of human history. What are the implications? People have studied this. Intelligent people have looked at this and are warning others. What is the meaning of this? What are its implications? How could it alter your life and the lives of other people? Then there is being with what you know and have seen. What does this really mean for me? Is this really true? And what must I do? Then there is taking action, beginning to move, picking yourself up, setting yourself on the road again, regaining your strength, expressing your self-determination and exercising your power and authority. Here you are governing the mind instead of being governed by it. Here you are directing your emotions instead of being directed by them. Here you are overcoming your inertia, overcoming your resistance, while you are gaining self-determination. All these three stages are powerful. They all restore to you your strength, your vision, your capabilities and your sense of direction in life. So many people do not have a sense of direction because they are not seeing, knowing and acting. They are just going through the motions of life. They are fulfilling social functions. They are doing what their culture tells them to do or what their family expects them to do. They are going through the motions. They are not really seeing very much, they are not really being with what they see sufficiently, and they are not taking action regarding those things that they see and know. And as a result, they are listless, being swept along in the current of what everyone else is doing. The excuses for this are many, but they all lead to the same kind of self-betrayal. They all weaken you and disconnect you from knowledge within yourself, knowledge which is already giving you signs and confirmation. You lose the inspiration if you do not act. Action is necessary. In facing the great waves of change, you do not have much time. This is both a hazard and an advantage. It is a hazard because if you do not take action soon and begin to reconsider your life, to alter your circumstances and to set in train change that must occur both within your own thinking and emotions and your outer circumstances, you will be at a great disadvantage. For the great waves are moving and are already impacting the world and are gaining strength every day. The advantage in this is that it calls you into action now. It requires that you look and see, that you be with what you see and that you take action regarding it. This inspires action and determination. You do not have time to think about it for very long. You do not have time to vacillate. You do not have time to become ambivalent. Time is of the essence. If you are feeling the presence of the great waves and feel anxiety regarding them, then you are also feeling the anxiety regarding time. How are you spending your time? The discomfort that attends one when one is not responding is significant. And the fact that you do not have much time gives impetus for you to respond and to act. It takes time to change one's thinking and one's circumstances. It takes time, planning and consideration to alter one's outer circumstances or to change one's relationship with certain people. These things all take time. In many cases, they can be difficult because of the attachments that have been created and the lack of confidence that one has in oneself. If you wait, then your freedom to respond becomes limited, your options become limited, and you are forced to take dramatic and often drastic actions, which may not be beneficial for you. You do not want to wait until the 11th hour, for then you will have no options. Your circumstances will be dictated for you, and not by you. Having made no real preparation, you will have to yield to the demands of your situation. This is a position that has few advantages and often great hazards. People wait to take action. They wait too long and then either they cannot take the action that would be most beneficial or they must pay a great price for doing it, far greater than they would have had to pay initially.